Today I'm with Fran, a friend that we've known for some years now, and we're just going to talk about what book she's written called The Matters of Life. So Fran, would you like to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Right. I started in the UK and I trained as a nurse, but I also became a Christian when I was about 5. And I've asked the Lord, where should I go? What should I do? And I felt that God was saying to eventually go to Hong Kong and work with the youth with a mission group that were working with the mission refugees, Vietnamese refugees in Hong Kong. So that's what I did. And then I worked with Jackie Pullinger and helped her a little bit with taking some of the refugees to some of the meetings. And we saw people saved. It was very exciting. And we saw a lot of things happen in Hong Kong. And then the Lord opened up the way for me to go to Australia. So I went to Australia and I've worked with Vietnamese people in Australia, married a Vietnamese guy, hence my surname. And we have 3 boys. Unfortunately, we're not together anymore. We're divorced. He is married again and has got another baby. I have 3 beautiful boys who've all got daughters in love, and yeah, just praying for them and seeing what happens next.
So going to Hong Kong must have been exciting.
It was a culmination of prophetic word and just a desire to serve the Lord. And so I went with Youth with a Mission, and I arrived on the YWAM base, and I was met by all these Americans. And so I had American culture shock, not Hong Kong culture shock. I had American culture shock. That was quite fascinating. The first guy I met was an ex-GI. He was the leader of our team, and whenever you asked him a question, he'd go, shoot! And you go, hang on a minute, I didn't ask you to fire at me. So yeah, it was a really different way of doing things, but love the Vietnamese people I met in the camps. We taught them English. We taught them how to love people. We taught them, I taught with another girl from America. We taught a class of between 8 and 13 years old children. And we taught them the Bible, we taught them English, and we taught them maths, and prepared them for culture shock. A lot of them would be going to another country to settle in a 3rd country. So we had lots of scope to teach and encourage.
It must have sort of grounded you very much in your faith.
Yes, I think it did. But yes, very much so. We had a lovely leader for a little while called Jim, and his wife, Marie Claire. They're from New Zealand. And that his daughter was on our team, the refugee team. So that was really nice too. So Anne is still a friend of mine, but I haven't spoken to her for ages. But yes, we had a strong bonding team. So I'm still in contact with several of that team. That was how strong it was. And we saw lots of things happen. We saw a lot of people come to know the Lord. We had times of baptisms in the sea. It was great fun. And we saw, yes, lots of answers to prayer.
Wow. So coming to today then, so obviously you've had all these experiences and come through. So whereabouts are you today, and what are you up to today?
Well, I lived in Australia for 30 years, and now I'm back in the UK, and I've been back for just over 3 years to look after my dad, who's now 94, still going strong. Amazing that he is. And so he's just not able to do as much reach up or down as much as before. So just being able to sort of, not being his carer, that's not true. I'm his housekeeper, really. I'm helping to keep him in good food. He likes good food, obviously. And just doing things for him, making the garden nice, making sure he's okay. And just being there for him, really. And in that time, I was able to write my book.
Wow. Yeah, and that's what we're going to come to. Matters of Life. That's an interesting title. So what made you think of Matters of Life?
Well, the life. When we talk about life, Jesus said, I want you to have life, and life in abundance. When we think about our life, what does it mean? Where are we going to? Having worked in Hong Kong, not just with the refugees, but with Jackie Pullinger and a lot of addicts, seeing them have a choice to make. do I choose to exist and live a basic life, or do I choose life, which really means something? So I felt that Matters of Life, 10 Keys to Make Your Life Matter, would be one way of getting the message across that life is important. We've only got one, and it is time to use it for the best we can to shine through.
Yeah. So give us a quick, brief sort of run through about the contents of the book. Obviously, not giving away too much because you want people to read it themselves.
Absolutely. Well, it's just a story. I say it's just a story. It's actually lifted out of Luke. A little tiny story is 5 verses about the widow of Nain. She lost her son, her only son, to we don't know what. And so I've just woven a story around her life and who she was married to, because obviously she had to have a husband to become a widow, and how she had her children and so on. So I've written a story about that, and then woven into the story are 10 keys. And I've listed the 10 keys on a scroll at the back. And that was part of the story as well.
Wow.
So you can see the 10 keys actually are very powerful keys. The first one is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. It's very important to be able to do that. And the 10th key is to leave a legacy. If we've lived our life well, then other people will follow what we're doing. And we are leaving a legacy by encouraging those around about us to learn to love and to live as Jesus did. That's my legacy.
Wow. So they have to get the book to read the other keys, won't they?
They will. I hope they enjoy the story. It is a story.
Yeah.
It is an allegorical story, and hopefully they'll enjoy it.
That's good. And they can get this, it's available from what resources?
Well, it's supposed to be available on Amazon Kindle. I've just got to get the connection for you to find, and I haven't done that yet. I was supposed to do that, haven't done that yet. So I will do that.
I'll look it up as well and see if we can find how many links we can get to getting you to the book out. You know, it's been so now. Where are you now? Because you've written this. You wrote this a few years ago, didn't you? So where are
2
you?
years ago now.
Yeah. So where are you? Where are you now, and what are you up to?
Where am I now? Well, I'm still in the UK. I'm still looking after my dad. I'm involved in various other things because my dad is also an active guy. So I'm a bit like him, chip off the old block in some ways. So I'm involved in, obviously, church, very important, praying with people on one virtual church, and the locality around here as well. We've got a local prayer group that now is meeting online, which is pretty good. And then also with Toastmasters, I've become a Toastmaster, which I believe is part of what God has been telling me, is to be his voice, to speak out his truth. So I was doing that, and I met Kevin partly because of that as well. And so I've been speaking out on Facebook. Now Facebook's changed, so it's a little bit more difficult to do a FaceTime live anymore. So I've actually done more posting recently, and I was going to do one today, which I probably will do, because I just think it's very much key for today is to stay alert. But I'm also a TRTP practitioner. So what does that mean? That means the Richards Trauma Process. I'm a master's in counselling, so I'm a counsellor, and this is going to the next level in specialising, looking after people with anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's getting their life back. Having lived with my ex-husband who had PTSD, and how we were robbed of being who we were because of his controlling, his outbursts of anger. We didn't know when he was going to next fly off the handle, walking on eggshells, being stonewalled, not allowed to speak, or being ignored totally like we didn't exist. All these things we've been through, and it is debilitating to the spirit. So coming away from that and finding healing and getting whole and learning to be myself again, and being the vibrant person that God wants me to be, I think it's very important that we learn how to live life to the max. And that's why it's a gift, really, to be able to see somebody come from where they're struggling with, how do I cope? to saying you can be set free. This is the way to do it. It's not the only way, obviously, but it's a way you can ask Jesus to use this tool to be set free and to set on fire again. So you find the fire of God in you. It's really exciting.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you're not easing up. You're pushing on and going ahead with things. And I would recommend the book and really ask you to get a copy and start reading it. And thank you, Fran, for spending this brief time with us in an interview. And I'm loving what you're doing, and I'm glad that we're connecting more, and we see and chat to each other and encourage each other. May that continue, and wish you all the best for all the things that you're going on.
Thank you so much.
Okay.